So what's your name?
Jim Johnson.
And where are you from?
Well, I've lived in Cedar Woolley the last 20-some years.
Yeah.
And I grew up in Marysville, just down the road, and spent a number of years out of state. And because my folks were getting up in years, I decided to come back and be responsible, more or less.
Yeah. So why did you get involved with Skagit Fisheries?
Well, it started sometime in the late 1990s. There was a program, a consortium between, I think, the Fisheries Group, National Park and Forest, and the North Cascades Institute called Skagit River Stewards. And I met some people who went on to be members, and one older gentleman, Dick Knight, who was one of the founders of Fisheries Enhancement Group, sort of encouraged me to join. And I participated in some tree planting, and then when I retired, I had more time on my hands.
So what is your name?
Hal Lee.
What brings you out here today?
Stream walking. Looking for salmon. It's fun.
Why do you like stream walking and looking for salmon?
Well, just being outside is, I find very enjoyable, no matter what the weather is. The potential of getting wet and falling in.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just good to be outside in nature and doing, what hopefully is a worthwhile project to determine what the salmon population is doing.
Yeah. Why did you start volunteering with Skagit Fisheries and doing things with the Skagit Land Trust?
My wife told me I had to do something when I retired. I mean, which is,
Yeah.
And so we looked around and I like being outside, so I tried to do other things too, but these are ones.
So what is your name?
My name is Ed Anderson.
So what is your name?
My name is Ed Anderson.
What do you do for a living?
I am retired.
Yeah.
I retired a couple of years ago, so right now I'm enjoying life.
Yeah. Favorite part about being retired?
Well, I like the independence. I like doing what I want to do, and that's kind of why I got involved with Skagit Fisheries Enhancement Group. Is I have more time, and I absolutely believe in what they're trying to do, and I support that. I love the Skagit River. Spent a lot of time in the Skagit River even before I retired, so it was a nice fit for me getting involved with them.
What stream did you survey?
Pete and I, we were responsible for surveying Marblegate Slough up just below the mouth of the Cascade, and surveyed it through just a few days ago here in the middle of January, and we saw chum and we saw silvers. Not a whole lot, but we saw both, and really beautiful area, beautiful second growth forest. Really, really pretty area. We spent a lot of time taking pictures and getting video.
What was your favorite part about surveying and monitoring?
Just observing nature, really. Looking at the salmon, watching the American dippers, watching the eagles, looking at the tracks of animals. I just kind of like the wilderness experience. I like being outside. I like the weather. That's what I like.
Well, initially it seemed like it would be fun and interesting because I'd never done it before. And like everyone, I like salmon and like to see them survive. That helps the whole oceanic food chain. So I did it to help out in some little way with respect to the ecology of salmon. and I found that I just really enjoyed it, especially getting deeper into the late fall, winter months and seeing the changes in stream flow and vegetation, ice buildup. So it's been a lot of fun.
What is your name?
Chris Brown.
So why did you decide to get into spawner surveys?
Well, friend and I were training to be beach watchers, Sheila Tomas, and she sort of brought it up, and I didn't know what it was about or anything, and I said, okay.
Did you know much about fish before you came?
I tried to know about salmon, and I fly fish once a year and that sort of thing. So I knew, and I grew up on the East Coast, so we did East Coast fish and things. But so I knew a little bit, but I know more now.
Why do you think it's important to do spawner surveys and monitoring of other sorts?
Well, we need the data to kind of see where we are, where the salmon are, and how many and what's going on. And I've learned a lot just personally, seeing the ups and downs of the salmon and knowing that Skagit Fisheries does a lot of restoration and important things, habitat restoration. And so, I've seen fish go into places that they hadn't been seen because the culverts they fixed to make the culverts larger, like on Parsons Creek. So I just think it's a wild thing, and it's worthwhile.
Well, I think I really enjoy working with the volunteers. It takes a special type of person to be willing to come out week after week to a stream, and I think my favorite part about this program is that every year I get a chance to go out with these people. I get to walk the stream with them, sometimes the first time they've done it, and they've never really done this kind of work before. I get to introduce them to what the spawner survey program is, how to look for various types of habitat, how to spot fish, it's really kind of an art, and how to see the stream in a whole new way. You often drive by or walk by a stream every day and you look down and there's just a trickle of water running through the forest, and what's the big deal? You don't think much about who's living in that stream and what they're up to. But when you go out day after day and week after week, you get to know it pretty well. You see the place where the mink crosses and the pool it hangs out to eat those juvenile fish that are hopefully going to be born 6 months after you do your survey. You see an ankle-deep stream go from something that was kind of clear and cold and just a trickle to deep, dark, mysterious, sort of flood that's full of water, and suddenly you spy a 1.5 long blood red coho salmon. So I think that one of the things that's really unique about this program is that, and that I'd love to have people who haven't participated in to know about, is that it really does give you a whole new perspective on the stream day to day and week to week. And I think that that's one of the things that people get really enthused about and engaged in, and that's my favorite part, is probably seeing that process